Hey everyone, and welcome back to the VSO Gun Channel. I am very happy to be here today because today we're going to be making fun of yet another Democrat behaving irresponsibly with firearms. No, not that one.
And it never fits quite right.
Never fits quite right. Just not quite right. How do you give it back?
No, not that one either. This one. This is a dangerous name for the internet commentator, Lucas Kunce, Kunce, not the way that it sounds. They went to the range, and there's a whole bunch of stuff to talk about this range trip, including an injury induced by said irresponsible person. I don't know what it is, but it seems to me when you mix a couple of these elements together, people seem to get hurt. There's a single graphic that I would use here, but it would probably get me kicked off of YouTube. If you can guess what that is, then sound off in the comment section down below. And we're going to talk about this after we hear a quick word from today's sponsor. Today's video is brought to you by Stopbox USA, and specifically we are highlighting their Stopbox Pro. This is designed as a retention device for your home defense firearms. So if you want to have a weapon at home that is ready to go, but you think it might not be responsible in your situation to just leave a naked loaded gun laying out on the counter so that your child could potentially come by and fiddle with it, well, then perhaps you should look into Stopbox. Now, the problem that I've had with the tabletop retention device in the past is that almost all of the products that are available in this market are some kind of electronic keypad thing. I have real big problems with electronic and Bluetooth and biometric stuff for get it and get it now type stuff. This is an all manual box that has special considerations for incidental access from small children and the like. To be clear, this is not meant to replace a safe. This is to keep little Susie from grabbing your nightstand gun to go deal with the monsters underneath of her bed while you're sleeping. They offer VSO subscribers a discount, and you can find all that information over the affiliates page. Special thanks to Stopbox for making today's video possible. Mr. Kunce is challenging Josh Howley out of Missouri for his seat. In an effort to gain a photo op and appear more macho, they went to the range. I say they because he went with Kinzinger, who is a traitor. But that's beside the point. Not only did they fail miserably to gain a legitimate photo op and not even realize it, even though this dude was in the Marine Corps, he should know better. But there was an injury of a cameraman that was struck by some shrapnel. Let's just start with the ex-post. Great day at the range today with my friend Adam Kinzinger. Dropping a Republican's name to sound more mainstream. We got to hang out with some union workers, plug, got to get that union vote, while exercising our freedoms. Always have your first aid kit handy. Shrapnel can always fly when you hit a target like today, and you've got to be ready to go. We had 4 first aid kits, so we were able to take care of the situation, and I'm glad Ryan is okay and was able to continue reporting. First off, I want to point out that Kinzinger holds a gun like an idiot. Look at that super bladed stance and that chicken wing hanging out there. He's going to fly away. But there are a few other things in this photo that I want to point out. First of all, notice that he is holding an AR-15 style rifle with a huge scope on it. There is no way that there is enough relief on that magnification that he can actually see the targets that he's shooting at. They've got to be out of focus big time. He's got to be looking through a sippy straw. The targets are definitely steel targets, and that is way too close to be shooting steel targets with an AR-15. But in front of them, you will also notice these little things here. Those are binary explosive charges. I'm just glad somebody was injured at the range before they set those things off, because I can see all those steel targets becoming Claymore shrapnel, because that is way too close to be using binary explosive. So they were shooting at this inappropriately set up range for this type of thing. We'll get to the target composition here in a second. But the AR-15 is not a very powerful rifle, but the cartridges do produce velocities that are relatively quick. And if you are using inappropriate targets at inappropriate ranges, then you can create a dangerous situation. I'll put it like this, since we're talking about Democrats and Democrat sympathizers. You've all seen the video of the dude with the jar, right? Wrong tool. When it comes to target composition, these look like homemade targets to me. I can't confirm that. I am working off of a photo that looks like it was taken with a potato. If they are homemade steel targets, then they are probably mild steel targets, in which case an AR-15 is definitely never the right tool, or conversely, that target is never the right tool to use when using an AR-15, and that is because the velocity of the rounds, even out to a couple hundred yards, is sufficient enough to punch through that mild steel. And that creates a situation, if you've ever done it, where the jacket actually gets carved off of that round as it's traveling through. So the distribution of mass is much more heavily weighted towards the core. The core continues through the steel, hits stuff behind and can bounce off of it, but the jacket itself gets kind of peeled off as it goes through, and as that happens, it can come back at the shooter. When we're talking about a range that is set up this close, that is definitely a hazard, and some of that jacket can come back and cut people up pretty bad. If it is armored steel, properly manufactured steel targets, even at that range, it is still dangerous, because what those targets are designed to do is be super hard, inflexible, and to shatter that bullet. There is a standoff distance that is appropriate for that sort of thing, and it depends on the material and the way the target is constructed. I would not shoot those targets made of armored steel unless I was more than 100 yards away. They look like they're maybe 25 yards at max from those targets. When you do that, you pit the target. It will still stop that AR-15 round, but it will pit that target up. And after continuous use at that distance with that kind of velocity on that round, those pits are going to build up. And then even with normal use of even standard velocity pistol rounds, you start to get shrapnel coming back, because what happens is you've created these micro environments, and the round comes in and a piece of that round gets scooped off because there's a differential of substrate there, and it can bounce back. You're creating a dangerous situation by building those up over time by inappropriately using the product. And then, of course, you should never shoot anything made of just straight iron either, because that creates its own set of problems. I don't believe that they would be doing that in this instance, but any way you slice it, this was an irresponsible setup. Inappropriate use of a tourniquet. Now, here's the thing. I have no idea what's going on here. It looks to me like they took the tourniquet and put a bleeder pad underneath of it to apply pressure to the wound, which is not the way that you use an expensive tourniquet. And this also harkens back to the situation with the actual post, where it says that the dude continued reporting. So they used a tourniquet for the photo op inappropriately in an unnecessary situation, because if the dude went on to continue to report the rest of the day, then the injury was not sufficient enough to need a tourniquet. I have no idea what's going on here, other than these lampoons have absolutely no clue that they posted this, and as far as I know, this is still up. They still think that this was a good thing to post and keep up there. These people are not like you. They try to put on a cool facade that they are like you, but they are not. And when they are super thin on something like this, it shows. I want to know what you guys think about the lizard people trying to infiltrate our government. Please sound off in the comment section down below, and hopefully we'll see you on another video here at the VSO Gun Channel.